came here with this one. Say hi, Patrice. So here's the thing, guys. We're raising grown children. Both Patrice and I have kids who are above the age of 18, and it's been a process. Patrice? It's been interesting. It's been challenging to gather that these people that you gave birth to have their own views and their own values and their own sets of... Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
But she's having technical difficulties. So what would you say is the most challenging part about raising kids who are adults?
Learning that parenting is more about... Thank you. Learning that parenting is
Parenting or parenting? Oh, thank you. Good, how are you?
Good.
So I think the most difficult thing... Yes.
Are you sure? I'm asking for a friend.
You know, sometimes you parent the husband.
No.
You don't.
I am not a child.
But they, you know, ladies, you know.
No.
I think the hardest part about parenting when it comes to the adult is realizing how much you're not a parent, but you're a guide. So you don't get to choose how their life pans out. You don't get to choose who their mates are. You have to just trust in the standards and what you've given them so that they can move forward the best they can with the decisions that they have to make for their lives.
As a dad, it's difficult because the father's the protector, the father's the provider, and when you don't have control over that, it's a process to watch your kids go through certain things and watch them make their own decisions, good, bad, or indifferent, you know, and they make their decisions, and we call it bad because it doesn't align with what happened.
Okay.
It may not align with what we say or with what we do, but it's their decision, and for them, it's good. And sitting by and allowing them to go through the process is different.
Difficult.
It's difficult and it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. But as Patrice said, it's great that we've given them the foundation to hopefully make the right decisions, and we'll see where that takes us. From the parenting perspective, though, disconnecting yourself is something else, right? So you don't internalize or take on the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
And do it as an indictment on what you did as a parent.
That's so valid, because once they start moving, you're thinking, well, did I not give them enough tools? Did they not hear me? Did I not say the right thing? Did I not, you know, you go through a litany of questions on thinking, did I do everything I was supposed to do when they were younger, right? But what you learn is that you've done your best. You've done all that you can to make sure that you've equipped them and prepared them for what comes next. And then you gotta trust God with them, that they have to go through the process. And that was hard. I actually had a prophetic word that told me that God was going to take, you know, my children through their own journeys, through their own darkness. And you know, my prayer was that they didn't have to go through certain things because I went through them, right? But there's some things that, you know, there's certain things like going through life that you just have to learn on your own, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And being parents who are children of Christ, there's a certain standard that we set. And again, this is where our flesh comes in, because we think that our children should live up to our standard.
Mm-hmm.
And our standard may not be exactly aligned with what their standard might be or what God has called for them to do.
I'm going to interject you there right there, because what I had a conversation this morning in prayer, and it's not even standard. It's what our dreams are.
Hold on one second. You see how she just took the camera away from me, right?
They saw it.
Okay.
But I'm just, what I want to say.
Hold on. Just asking for a friend. Why? Okay.
But so seriously though, what I realize is that it's not necessarily the standard, because I believe our children have, you know, a lot of the standards we gave them, but the hardest part as a parent is letting them create their own dreams, right? Our dreams of what they can be and what they're gonna be and how it's gonna all fold out. It's our dreams, and that's hard.
I agree.
Right? And so realizing that our dreams have to die, they have to be thrown away because it's not our lives. We're here as guides, not for us to make up or dream up how they're going to live out their lives, but to be there for them.
From our oldest to our youngest, we all had expectations of what we thought our children would do. Watching them make their own decisions and watching them go on this journey has been extremely difficult because that didn't align with what I thought. And as parents, we all have certain expectations for our kids, and we have certain visions for our kids. But then watching them come into their own, it's humbling because you realize that you're not the one in control. Then as they're matriculating their way through, it's actually fulfilling because they're figuring it out. They're making their way, and I can say that we have great kids. We have great kids, and I don't agree with them all the time, but they get that from Patrice. Camera back on you.
I will say this: they are not perfect, but no person is perfect. But I will say that they're powerful, that God has given them each their own individuality and their purpose. And as parents, that's why I say guides, we have to realize that that's not necessarily intertwined with everything we want them to do or necessarily intertwined with us. Some of them may do it in another country. It's all about still having the family foundation being tight, so that there's always a place that someone can come with their heart, necessarily not come home. You know what I mean? But being able to, can I get you in here with me? There you go. Being able to guide and be a sounding board, right? I can't with him. Is what we need to do as our children grow up. So where'd you go, baby? Where'd you go? There you are. He's playing hide and go seek. So what would be your advice to a parent who is going through a difficult time or stressing out about a child who is not a child anymore? They're a grown-up.
Just realize that you raised them right.
Okay, babe. So we have to let them grow. We have to let them experience life on their own without judgment. Right? Because we all did some stuff that our mama and daddy don't know about.
That's facts.
And we all made our mama and daddy upset at some point in time because we stepped away from what their expectation was.
What their vision was.
And what their vision was, their dream. It's about God's vision and not our dreams. So we have to allow them to become whoever they are, however that takes. And it's painful because sometimes your children go through stuff and you just want to yank them out. But they won't grow, and they won't get to the level of understanding that you have if you take them out of it.
One of our daughters told us something that was, it was maddening, but then I understood it. She said, I understand your advice, but let me make my own mistakes. And to me, I'm like, why would you make the same mistake that we made? And she said, because it'll be my mistake, not yours. At the time, I was just like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I said it too. I didn't think it was smart.
But then I thought about it after a while. I'm like, I get it. You want to it's your experience. It's your journey. So
Yeah.
I get it.
And
Don't
another
agree with it
at all.
but I get it.
I thought you were going to bring up the other child who said that we never taught them how to fail.
Yes. Talk about that one. We never taught them how to fail.
We stand in the gap for our kids all the time, but we need to realize that we got to let them. We got
good stuff going on.
No, we're not going to look at
Show
your
the
feet.
footage. Show the footage. Patrice.
No.
I said show the footage. Patrice, show the footage.
I did. We have to let them fail. We have to let them learn what failing looks like so that they can learn what victory, how to get out. We tell them to be victorious, but how are they going to come back from something if we never let them go through anything? And their journey, especially as adults, they got to go through their own stuff, right? So when she said we never let her fail, I was like, man, I done spent my whole life making sure you didn't fall down, and it's offensive
And
to
that's
you.
the thing. Like, our generation, we grew up making sure that the pitfalls and the obstacles and the hurdles that we went through, we don't want our kids to go through. The pitfalls and the obstacles and the hurdles that we went through, We said we don't want our kids to go through that. But for them, they're looking at it as like, you took away this experience from me. Blows my mind.
Unreal.
Blows my mind.
So parenting is about guiding. Guide your children to be whomever God intended them to be, and that vision that God gave them, not the vision that you created in and of yourself, or how they were going to get there.
That's a tough one, because we have, like you said earlier, we have a vision of what we think our kids are going to do and what they're going to be, and we project on them the best versions of ourselves.
That was
Pretty dope, right?
awesome.
Yeah,
That
listen.
was awesome.
Listen, I'm dope and I do dope things.
Okay, he's back.
But all kidding aside, like we project the best versions of ourselves onto them, and they have to live up to the expectation, which is not fair because that's not what they asked for. They said, "Well, that's your version. My version of me is something different." And we have to find some common ground in aligning what we expect from them versus what they expect of themselves.
Yeah. So, long story short, we in this with y'all. But the best thing is that raise them up in the way they should go, and they'll never depart from Him.
So we have 3 calls to action.
Oh, here
We
he
always have
goes.
calls to action because you can't walk away from the video without having something. Anyway, without having something to take away from it. So the first call to action is 1. Recognize who your kids are because they're different in their each ways. Right? They have their own individual personalities. They have their own different mannerisms. Recognize who they are. Acknowledge who they are.
Is this 2?
Right? That's cheap. Then accept who they are.
That's 3.
That's the hard part.
Let them be themselves and foster a great relation. Yeah, well,
You're not so nice all the time.
We love you all. Make sure that you subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Make sure that you hit the notification button.
Yep. Hit the
Make sure that you like
Yep. Make sure you like it.
and come back for another word from Just
Right here.
Between Us,
Every 2 weeks. We're here.
the
Every 2
Breezies.
weeks. Not every 1 week. Every
And
2
we're
weeks.
done.